everybody. Today I'm talking about lunar eclipse in Aries on 8th of November. Lunar eclipse happens at full moon. So at present Rahu is in Aries and the full moon is in Aries close to Rahu, and therefore we have a lunar eclipse. And this is always unsettled energy, and I think also emotionally, mentally unsettling as well. So being aware of it and how to cope with it, I shall explain it all to you. Hello, I'm Komilla Sutton and we are talking lunar eclipse in Aries. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification. Lunar eclipse is in Aries, and always you get two eclipses side by side. The solar eclipse that took place on 25th of October, and now we have the lunar eclipse on 8th of November. And the lunar eclipse happens when it is full moon and Rahu is there in a particular angle to it. And the shadow of the earth goes in front of the moon. Actually, in the traditional way, we talk that Rahu shadows the moon. And that shadow is actually Rahu revealing himself. So sometimes what happens is during the lunar eclipse, something gets revealed. Sometimes it can be a scandal. Sometimes it can be unusual information that we get to know during a lunar or solar eclipse. You see this very often, but specifically I've noticed with the lunar eclipse. And the lunar eclipse, unlike the solar eclipse, has very quick results. So its influence doesn't last for very long, and as soon as the eclipse happens, within that day or a few days, you get the information what is going to happen. So obviously, if you are Aries, then this is most important for you on 8th of November, because eclipse is happening on that day. But generally, the eclipse is emotionally disturbed energy. We can feel a lot of fear, anxiety, mental stresses, and it doesn't have to be any particular sign, because the moon is with Rahu, the moon, our mind, is eclipsed. So it is a very emotional time. And one of the things you have to think about is that maybe we are not thinking clearly around the eclipse time. And so we should not make any major decisions as the eclipse is happening. Now, here in USA on 8th of November, we have the midterm elections. And one could think that there can be some unexpected results. It's very difficult to make an overall decision about how things will go. But because of the lunar eclipse, there's going to be some unexpected result that we don't plan beforehand, and that is going to happen. The other thing is this, which is a positive point, is that people have been voting early. So a lot of people in USA would have already voted, and therefore, not voting on the lunar eclipse day. So usually it's a good idea that one keeps the day simple and to be careful. And actually, the lunar eclipse is at night. So the correct word would be night simple. And this eclipse is on 7th night, 8th morning, especially here in USA. It is going to be visible on 7th night, 8th morning. And in other parts of the world, this eclipse, because the eclipse is visible wherever it is nighttime on 7th night, 8th morning. And we see that this eclipse is visible, largely fully visible in USA, South America, North America, all the countries there, the eclipse is visible. Therefore, in those countries, you can expect, I'm thinking Canada, USA, Mexico, all the Middle America, then Southern America. You can expect some unexpected energy to happen, something new, some new revelation. As I said, these are instant things. So you'll know within a day or two whether there's something the eclipse can activate those energies. So it's not that you have to wait too long. And the eclipse is at 21 degrees 49 of Aries, and it is got no other planet placed with it. All the planets are in the seventh house from the eclipse with Ketu. Sun is there, Mercury is there, Venus is there. But we have Moon and Rahu creating the eclipse at full moon. And 21 degrees Aries is ruled by Mars, and the nakshatra ruler is Venus. So it is Bharani Nakshatra. And Bharani Nakshatra is ruled by Yama, the god of Dharma. So I would say the message of this eclipse is that follow your Dharma. Very often what happens is that at these times of eclipses and all, our thinking, our ideas are going every which way. So we can easily think, oh, I can compromise at this time, then I'll think later. But during the eclipse time, it is very important to follow the right thing, do the right thing. Don't try to compromise on your ideals or on your ethics as well during the eclipse time. Two rulers of this eclipse, Mars. Mars is in Gemini. It's retrograde, just went retrograde. And it is not so supportive at this because it's also going to change in a few days into Taurus. And Venus, which is the nakshatra ruler, is with Ketu. So, the energy of the rulers is not that supportive. And generally with the eclipse, in order to look at the balance of the eclipse, you want to see what Jupiter is doing. Is Jupiter supporting the eclipse? Jupiter is in Pisces, which is the 12th house. So Jupiter is not supporting the eclipse. That means that Aries eclipses always, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So we always feel in a rush to do things like yesterday. So we have to stop ourselves and say, okay, these are two eclipse days, 7th and 8th, and it's just a couple of days, 9th, we can decide what we want to do. The totality of the eclipse, you can take it in two ways. One is the UTC timing. UTC timing is the Universal Standard Time, which is taken for GMT approximately. And obviously, you can take it where you are. At the UTC time, the maximum eclipse starts at 10:16 a.m. The totality of the eclipse is at 10:59 a.m. and the ending of the maximum eclipse is at 11:41 a.m. So that means that the partial eclipse will start a little bit earlier, almost over an hour earlier than, or even before. So you'll see bits of eclipses, but this time, if we take approximately 10 to 11 a.m., the night time is mostly in Americas. So the Americas are getting this eclipse full step. So you can see North America, South America, Middle America, they are the ones who are going to see this eclipse fully. The others may see Asia, India also is seeing partial eclipse, and also Europe, Northern Europe will see parts of the eclipse as well. But, India and Europe had the solar eclipse that was visible. It was not visible in America. But the countries where the lunar eclipse is visible, those are the countries most affected. You could say their populations are affected. Individuals, we can feel emotionally more stressed out, and also politics or some kind of weather event. Number of things can happen with the lunar eclipse. But I find that even if the eclipse is not visible, it does affect our emotions. So sometimes they are more secretive because we don't know the eclipse is happening. Nobody has told us. So we find that it is more secretive, and we can feel something internally without actually being aware. Why are we feeling unsettled? Why is our mind feeling anxious? Now, one of the important things is if you're in America, so all the America, north to south, is that it is important on the night of 7th, because this is 8th morning, 7th night, so after midnight. So like say in California, the eclipse is starting at 2:50 a.m. approximately. So for example, in California, the totality of the eclipse is starting at 2:16 a.m. And then it is, lasting for some time. And but the whole energy of the eclipse begins almost 2 hours earlier. So I would say that 7th night, it's important maybe not to do something crazy or go out in big crowds or things, because we may be all very zen and calm and everything, but other people may not be exactly feeling that. So, and then also, because the mind is unsettled, you don't necessarily make the right decisions at that time. So don't feel that, oh, I can make right decisions all the time, because that's what these planets do, the eclipses or all the difficult planetary energies. By the time you get up on 8th morning, especially in USA and the Americas, then the eclipse is over. And it's almost like, oh, I can think more clearly after that. But at the same time, if we think about the other countries where the eclipse is not fully visible, the timings may differ. So I would say that 7th, 8th, take it easy. Don't start any new projects. Don't do any major things. If you can avoid travel, avoid it. If you are traveling, then just, go coolly. Sometimes, we can't change things because they're already decided. So how does it affect you? You can look at your moon sign and your ascendant. Aries, of course, this is an eclipse in Aries. Rahu is there. Usually the eclipse is an indication of change. And for Aries yourself, you feel the need to change something. New ideas can also come to you at this time. And because the eclipses are lunar eclipse is now in Aries. In April, the solar eclipse will be in Aries. So definitely Aries are going through a change. Taurus, the eclipse is in the 12th house. So important to be careful about expenses around the eclipse time, to be careful that what choices you're making. Venus was involved in the solar eclipse. So you are just taking it careful for now. Gemini, the eclipse is in your 11th house. So it's all about finances, money. I would say this is for you. It's not such a negative thing, but you may find that your attitude towards money, finances may change. Normally, Rahu in the 11th transit is very good. Cancer, eclipses in the 10th house, so there can be some professional issues that can come up. 10th house is about career, profession, future. So something develops around that time. Handle it, deal with it. The eclipse is in the 9th house. Now, 9th house is the house of the guru, the house of father. It's also a house that gives you advice. because that's what the gurus give. They support you, give you the right thinking. So when the eclipse is taking place in the ninth house, then it is definitely time to be careful about what advice you're getting. Are people telling you the truth, or this is not, everything is not clear? So wait till the eclipse is over. Rahu is still there. So as a Leo, you just do need to watch out for what type of people are surrounding you, and especially your advisors. Virgo, the eclipse is in your eighth house. So eighth house is house of change, transformation. So there can be some unexpected news for you around this time. And, it's as a lunar eclipse doesn't last very long. So just to be aware of it. And if something happens, react rather than making changes yourself. Now, Libra, of course, Libra, Aries are the two people who are getting the maximum impact of the eclipses. So Aries is your seventh house. So the eclipse is taking place in the house of relationship partners. And so they may be feeling unsettled and unsure, and you are also feeling this. So I would say this is an unsettled time for you. Listen to my video on Venus in Scorpio. I made a video already. It's available on YouTube, so you can watch that. Scorpio, the eclipse is in your sixth house. Now, sixth house is house of opposition, enemies, competition, and health also. Suddenly, there can be some obstacle that you feel, and you feel that something that is blocking you that you need to work with. And because Mars also just went retrograde, so you do feel this double aspect of it, and to be very aware and conscious of it. Sagittarius, Aries is your fifth house of ideas and higher mind, children. I think definitely ideas around eclipses, sometimes you can get some brilliant ideas. But should you act upon them impulsively? Maybe not. You have to think, okay, this idea is super brilliant. Let me write it down, or whatever way you put it in your memory. And then afterwards, you can rethink it and process it. Capricorn, the eclipse is in the fourth house. So it's all about home, happiness. Do you want to move your home? Do you want to, do something to your home? I think the thing is this, that because the solar eclipse is going to happen in April as well, that means there's some unsettled energy regarding home for you just now. And, don't do something quickly, impulsively around this time, but also maybe making some changes will be beneficial for you. Aquarius, this eclipse is in your third house. Third house usually is a good place for Rahu to be. The eclipse, obviously, on its own, it is an unsettled energy. But third house is self-effort. I want to do something. And what can happen is 7th and 8th of November, you can feel, oh, I must do this. I must complete this. I must rush to do it. And that is where you have to restrain yourself. But later on, your ideas and all can bear fruit, and you can plan for something. Pisces, Aries is your second house. Second house is house of money, finances, savings, speech. So it is important for Pisces to watch what you say, especially in this next 2-3 days. Be careful. What you say can have a big impact, and be kind and soft, because Rahu sometimes can be cutting, and the eclipse is forcing you to say things that you may not normally say. And as far as money is concerned and saving, second house is Dhana Bhava. So as far as savings are concerned, you want to think about not to invest at this stage, to wait till after the eclipse before making any decision. So that is it for today. Do remember to subscribe, press the bell notification.